الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين. أما بعد. Brothers and sisters, this workshop today on Muslim youth is a combination of not only just for Muslim youth, but for the youth dilemma in America itself. And we have prepared a presentation that is going to focus on several things. The first thing that I would like to begin with is an ayat from the Quran, two ayats from the Quran, and to answer a question or to put in your minds or our minds today a question, and that is why the historical war against youth. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَإِذْ نَجَيْنَاكُمْ مِنْ آلِ فِرْعَوْنَ يَسُونَكُمْ سُوءَ الْعَذَابِ يُذَبِّحُونَ أَبْنَاءَكُمْ وَيَسْتَحْيُونَ نِسَاءَكُمْ وَفِي ذَلِكُمْ بَلَاءٌ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ عَظِيمٌ. And this is translated from Surah Al-Baqarah in the 49th verse. It says, and remember, and this is talking to the children of Israel, we delivered you from the people of Pharaoh, and they set for you hard tasks and punishment, and slaughtered and sacrificed your sons, and let your women folk live. That was a tremendous trial for you. Then again Allah says in the Quran, وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ بِأَيِّ ذَنْبٍ قُتِلَتْ. When the female infant is buried alive, is questioned for what crime she was killed. I begin with these two ayats because there is a concerted effort always by various societies to murder the youth, to kill them. Pharaoh did it. It was done in Jahil Arabia to baby infant girls. It was also done by Herod, trying to kill the king, or kill the ideal of the birth of Jesus. And those of us that even are familiar with the philosophy of the Nation of Islam, the mythological mystic of Fat Muhammad, he talked about a fellow called Yaqub, and in order to get his situation going, he had to kill the youth by sticking a needle into their brains. The historical war on youth. Now I want to give you also some war statistics, or what I call the war of the statisticians. The war of the statisticians. There's a war that's going on with statisticians. And it says here that juveniles make up about 20% of the United States population, but commit more than 40% of serious crimes. 14% of all murders, 15% of all rapes, 33% of all burglaries, and 43% of all auto thefts. Last year, youth under 18 were charged with nearly 2 million offenses, including 2,500 murders, 4,600 rapes, 32,900 robberies, 50,600 aggravated assaults, 118,200 simple assaults, 102,600 acts of vandalism, 31,800 weapons offense, 52,200 drug abuse violations. 80% of the youth charged were males, and 40% of these were under the age of 18. The highest juvenile crime rate are not in the large cities, but in those having populations between 10,000 and 100,000. And the peak age now for arrest is between 11 and 12 years old. Now, there are statistics, again, of one day in the lives of the American children, just one day. This is not weeks or years, this is one day, every day this happens. 2,740 teenagers get pregnant. 1,105 have abortions. 369 miscarry. 1,293 give birth. 676 babies were born to women who have inadequate prenatal care. 69 die before 1 month of life. This is every day now. 107 die before their first birthday. 2,407 are born out of wedlock. 27 children die every day because of poverty. 9 children die from guns every day. 7,742 become sexually active every day. 6 teenagers die from suicide every day. 623 get syphilis or gonorrhea every day. 1,375 drop out of school every day. 1,849 children are abused. 3,288 run away from home every day. 1,629 are in jail. And 2,989 see their parents divorced every day. Now, I brought these statistics to your attention because we can look at them and say they may be off or on. We know a lot is happening. We are aware of that. But also, there's a lot of good going on. Very seldom do you see the statistics of the accomplishments of youth. How many are graduating? How many are going on to college? How many are doing this? How many are this? It gives a picture that is hopeless. And there's a plan behind it. There's a reason for this. And that is to defeat the mind of the individual so that we can feel that it's hopeless. These statisticians, they present a gloomy and hopeless picture of the growing youth problem in America. Is the picture true? Are we being overwhelmed by statistics every day that when you hear youth now, people get afraid? And that's what they report. They sensate everything. The drive-by shootings, the gangs, the drugs, everything is about that. So someone is educating us about the youth in a way that make us feel already defeated. So it said, we make a comparison. How would these statistics affect you? When the child is doing something that may be out of the ordinary, they may be disrespecting parents, etc. You say, I can't worry about that right now. At least they ain't on drugs. At least she ain't pregnant. At least this, at least that. So they make our value system and our comparative system with the low things that are happening instead of presenting a comparative value with the things that are high. It's a very, very strong psychology that's going on right now. So it causes neglect. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran so that we will not become fearful of this. Because you got people right now, they're just scared of you. Parents, you got parents, I've talked with them, they're scared of their own children. They're scared to discipline their own children. I had a sister ask me one time, say, my son, I bought him some gym shoes, but he didn't want them. He wanted some Nikes, and I didn't have $80-some, and etc. What should I do, Imam? I told him to send his ass to school barefooted. That's just how I told her, just like that. But other things, they become afraid to even talk to and discipline their own youth. Allah says in the Quran, الْيَوْمَ يَسِعَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ دِينُكُمْ فَلَا تَخْشَوْهُمْ وَاخْشَوْنِي. that this day have the disbelievers presented all hope, given up all hope on your religion, your way of life, to put fear in you. And Allah say, don't fear them, fear me. That's the first thing. Now, the present crisis facing our youth themselves and us too is not insurmountable. It's not when you keep that kind of mind. Our focus here today that I want to do in this first part is look at the natural pattern and the natural growth designed by Allah for a solution. Because that's what we're talking about, Quranic solutions for America's dilemma. Allah says in the Quran, وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمٌ فَاتَّبِعُونَ. This is what God says. Said, and surely this is my straight way and upright way, therefore follow it. فَاتَّبِعُونَ. Follow it. That's the key. Now, here's for parents and future parents. So we have youth here, but I want to address the parents and also those of you who are future parents. The question of the developing children that I want to ask, are we raising children, or should we, be raising children or raising consciousness? That's the question I want to put first. Should we be raising children or raising consciousness? Because the separation between the child and the parents and etc. is not because of the biology of that child, but it's because of the consciousness of that child. Because when that child is young and developing, you will see it obedient, it will do this, it will do that, do this, follow you everywhere, ask you questions, and etc., etc. But when their conscience begin to change and take on another type of mind, another type of situation that disassociates itself with certain values that you have implanted and input there, then that consciousness begins to deviate. So the job of the Muslim, we don't be looking, I gotta get them this and I gotta get them that, and they need the Nintendo and they need this and etc. So we're trying to follow fads, trends, and etc. that have been given. So we stop looking at the consciousness, the moral consciousness, the intellectual consciousness, the respectful consciousness. We begin to move farther and farther away from that, and especially taqwa, consciousness of God. Yes. So Allah says again in the Quran, and these are Quranic solutions, but it's directions to all of us. Allah says, قَدْ خَسِرَ الَّذِينَ قَتَلُوا أَوْلَادَهُمْ سَفَهًا بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ وَحَرَّمُوا مَا رَزَقَكُمُ اللَّهُ افتراء على الله قد ضلوا وما كانوا مهتدين. Certainly, most emphatically, they are the losers who kill their children and their offspring from foolishness, stupidity, and ignorance without any knowledge, and make unlawful what Allah has provided naturally for them, inventing and forging lies against Allah. They have certainly gone astray and have no guidance. Now, this is telling you, yes, thank you. I'm straight now. This is telling us, Allah is saying, قَدْ خَسِرُوا الَّذِينَ. Certainly they are the losers. Who are the losers? Those who kill their children. What are their children? Their future. Well, how are they killing them? From lack of knowledge. From why? Because sufaha, they're foolish. Following information from Dr. Spock and Ruth and etc. and Donahue and Oprah and all of these half-made psychologists that they put out on TV to counsel America now. These are America's psychiatrists right now. Some people can't do it. I gotta have my Oprah. I gotta have my show. And then they bring all kind of situations to soothe your mind. So Allah says that it is without knowledge. Knowledge of what? Quran. Yes. And then Allah says, وَحَرَّمُوا مَا رَزَقَهُمُ اللَّهُ. That they make unlawful what Allah has made lawful. What Allah has provided from His razaq and made lawful for us, which is halal, and halal is not just something you eat. Like I'm talking with a group of immigrant Muslims, and and they were saying, it was expressing, we have to have halal. We have to have this. We have to have the food halal. I can't send my children to the school. Make sure I pack the lunch and so that they have halal meat, halal list when they go to the school. I said, well, why don't you pack some halal books in there? Because they're sending them to the public school to eat unhalal mental knowledge that is rendering them unconscious, but worried about their biology, that they got a halal turkey sandwich or a halal beef or something in there that's going in the toilet. But that knowledge that they put in there is going in their mind and in their soul, and that confusion that is put in there is going in their mind and their soul, but they're not fighting for that. Yeah. As parents today and the parents of tomorrow, the focus and priority of raising our children must come from the guidance of Allah. We can't look for other people to help guide us. Allah says again in the Quran, behold, Luqman said to his son by way of instruction, by way of teaching, O my son, join not in worship others with Allah, for false worship is indeed the greatest wrongdoing. This is a man, Luqman the prophet, giving advice to his son about what? Shirk, corruption in worship. The same instruction that Allah gave us to give to our children and our children's children. Because these children today are going to be parents tomorrow, and they have to pass on this tradition of the Quran. The same ayat is going to be there. Now, Imam W. Muhammad said, quote him, he said, whether we live in the old world or the new world or the third world or the world of the superpowers, we are going to find ourselves in environmental situations that challenge the very nature of man. No matter what world you're in, the environments that we're in is going to challenge our nature. What nature? The nature that Allah gave you. So we're talking about now, how can we help stem the tide? And I thought on that, I said, man, we'll be out here reacting, and I hope you don't feel bad about what I'm going to say, but when I said the historical war that is constantly fought, the war of the statistics that you see that's going on, and the war against the youth and against us and etc., there is a reality that you must accept. When you don't have your country protected, you don't have your community protected, and war breaks out like it has done now, and they begin to invade the homes and invade the communities and etc., there is going to be casualties of war. Casualties, death, broken legs, disfigured mind, war shock, and etc. And let me tell you something right now. Many of these youth, as well as many of these adults, have become casualties of this war. Yeah? Now, so my focus here now is not to just look at how to deal with the gang problem, how to deal with this, how to deal with that. We're going to have to deal with it as it comes along. But where I want to carry you to now is the future. Well, we only have about 20 minutes to talk to you on this. There's a lot of things we can say, but what are we going to do about the unborn and the newly born? Right now, that's what I want to challenge you to right now. What are we going to do about the unborn and the newly born? Are we going to raise them according to the standards and the plans of Allah? Or are we just going to give up and say, here, take these? Well, Imam, are you giving up on the teenagers? No. Are you giving up on the young adults? No. But I know something that's very important. We have to start where it's natural at. We have to start where Allah says start at, and that's right in the womb. Now, let me show you where Allah says this. Allah says in the Quran, and we have enjoined on the human being to be good to his parents. In travail, we read this in travail, but it means upon great exhaustion and weakness did his mother bear him, and in 2 years was his weaning. Allah says, hear the command, show gratitude to me and to your parents, and to me is the final goal. But if they strive to make you join, talking to the youth, if your parents strive to make you join in worship, coming back to worship, with me, things of which you have no knowledge, then do not obey them. Yet bear them company in this life with justice and consideration. Now, many of Americans' children have been abandoned today. I'm not talking about the ones that's left on doorsteps and etc. But there's an abandonment that's going neglected that has been slipped in on us without you even becoming aware of it, that they're now bearing witness to. And that is the breast abandonment. The breast abandonment. Well, what is that? When the baby is in the womb of his mother, it grows in a bond, a natural bond that God has given him. And that bonding begins to grow and develop through 9 months. Then, under great pain, that baby come out. All of you have done this to your mothers. Just go ask them. All of it has happened. Great pain. And then is delivered. But that bonding principle has not stopped. God say 2 years is his weaning. Is a principle for the baby and a principle for the mother. Right now, I just seen a release where they're saying that they have found that mothers who have breastfed their babies have less chance of cancer than those who don't. Yeah. What is this got about children? Because our talk really is focused on the nurturing principle of motherhood and fatherhood that separated the children. Because the child is developing in the womb, and then once it comes into the world, there's a 2-year period of bonding that has to take place to establish a consciousness of trust with mama. God has designed this. So the conscience of that child is developing. And God has given 2 principles so associated in the heart area. And has made the child's lips and his chin in such a way that when it rests on the breast of the mother, that it pulls from the mother in a natural way. And it's pulling, it's not only doing that, but it's helping to bring those organs and those inner workings of the woman's body into shape. The sucking motion. It works. It's helping her and it's helping him or her, the child. Now, as one writer said, that the breastfeeding of the child to the mother is the second womb of that child. It's like the second womb. Yes. Now, let me see here what happened. Nourishment is one of the most important things for the child in the womb, and nourishment is one of the most important things for the child on the outside of the womb. We think they're just getting some milk. But that child is learning love. That child is learning tenderness. That child is learning kindness. That child is learning not to be like a cow or not to be like Similac. You'd be surprised. In fact, one psychologist said that many of the youth today are suffering from the cycles of abandonment. They were abandoned at birth from their mother's breast. I'm giving you something to think on. Today, the so-called child-rearing experts and the medical community overwhelmingly endorses breastfeeding as a means of achieving optimal infant health and growth and the best possible parent-child care. But before that, In the 1950s, they were encouraging the pediatricians. They were encouraging, put them on the bottle, go to work, get a job, be a modern mother. Yes. Allah has already told us that. I didn't have to read what the experts said. All this expert stuff they always give us. Allah has already gave us instruction. As Muslims, I'm talking to you Muslim parents and you Muslim who are going to be parents and etc. You want to turn this thing around? It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take us into the 2000s and beyond. But we got babies now that need attention. Yes. So what they did in 1945, they dismissed breastfeeding as unscientific, an outdated alternative to commercially made formulas. Yeah. And right now, you have children acting just like animals. There's a malnourishment, as Imam mentioned last night, malnourishing principle that's going on in America that's malnourishing not only the physical body, but the mental body. And the design of this malnourishment is to make them weak and sick. And I'm talking about Burger King, McDonald's, all of these fast foods and etc. that have caused abnormal growth because of the hormones. And then here you got a child that's 11 years old or 12 years old growing, budding out here and budding out, got all this heavy equipment with a tiny mind. That's like giving a 5-year-old a Cadillac of 1994 and he said, just yours, drive it. So they got all these drives. And now the strongest drive in the human being is the drive for life, which is found in what we call the sexual drives. And I like the way Imam Muhammad put it last night when the person asked the question about how to solve these problems. He said, you have to solve the sex problem. Yeah, paraphrasing that. Now, how can we go as a community, or how far can we go in the community, and what is the distance that we have to go? And what will measure our success? People have put principle down, success is this, success is this, all kind of success seminars and the workshops and etc. for our youth, career days, all kind of things. They set the careers for them, they set this for them, they set that for them, etc., etc. All of this great situation. You know, I have a philosophy that I do in a lot of the schools. I tell the youth, go to school to rule in whatever subject you choose. Yeah, don't go to school for a job. I mean, just make sure you go and get a good job. A good job. For who? Who they gonna work for? It's sad that the things that are happening. Now, what is the weight of our authority? It is the Quran and life of Prophet Muhammad. That's the weight of our authority. And for us to ignore the blessings of being directed properly to the Quran and the religion of Islam by the leadership of Imam W.D. Muhammad is another part of our punishment today. And it's a serious issue. It's a very, very serious issue. There are laws that Allah has given us, and Allah knows the laws. And you know how you improve your thinking? You know how you improve your excellence? You improve your thinking with thinking. You improve your excellence with excellence. So we can't get from people that is inferior and expect to improve this situation. And that's what's happening now. We're using inferior methods. And the child is being blamed for everything. They're being blamed for everything. But they didn't make this world. They didn't make it. And in my conclusion on this point, our unity as a community here, we're struggling to unite, to do things, to work to build schools and etc. Our opportunity for unity is in the youth. That's where it exists. They know it. Pharaoh knows it. Herod knows it. The Jahil Arabia knows it. That our opportunity for unity is in our youth. We got a lot of bad baggage habits that we brought all the way from slavery and before. But every time that child, a new child is born, we got a fresh mind. We can bring them up backbiting or lying or whatever you want, but as soon as you do that, you're killing the future. So there's more interest that need to be taken in the youth. I embarked upon a project called RAP Code: Responsibility, Accountability, Productivity for Cultivating Opportunities, and examine all these different rap songs and etc. And I had my nephew working with me, and I even learned a lot of the language that I wasn't familiar with. I didn't know what a 187 was, which means to kill somebody. I didn't know what Indo was and Quranic was, 40G. He wrote out so many words for me, and I thought I was hip. I said, man, that mean that? Yeah, that mean that. This mean that. Yeah. He wrote out a whole 2 pages. I wish I had with me 2 pages of secret vocabulary that is done by Dr. Dre and Snoopy Dogg. I keep getting his name mixed up. And the rest of these people, and they love it. They love this stuff. And the vocabulary in it will insult the devil. The devil is insulted by the vocabulary. He don't even listen to it. But I tell you what happened to me. I listened to this stuff for about 60 days, day and night. And boy, I'm so glad I got a brother now, and young brother in Houston now. I said, you're gonna be the director of Rapco. Because I couldn't take it no more. Because I was running around humming this stuff. I be thinking, and next thing you know, who you gotta, who you gotta let a hoe be a hoe. This is boss. I'm studying her, and I'm studying all these other different things that's going on. I said, man. I told my wife, I said, look, I can't deal with this stuff. I know it's powerful. I know it's powerful. Because first they go by the rhythm and the beat. And the rhythm and the beat, as Imam W. Muhammad said, we were sitting in a church one time, and they were singing a song. Jesus is my rock. And Imam leaned on me, he said, now you see how that moves with the heart, the beat of the heart? They enter into the system through the heart. And you can't have a good band without a drum. So that's how they get in there. And they get into the nazama, as it's called, the organized rhythm in the individual. And then once they get into that, then the words come. Because what catch them first is the beat and get you moving. I got my blood moving, I'm moving, I can't do all those dances, but I used to get jammed in my days now. I wasn't no slouch. But my point is this, is another thing that's defeating it. So we need the call in RAPCO is for the youth to take charge of it. Just examine it. I'm not saying it's this, that, and other. You look at it. And let us begin a protest movement against these record stars and et cetera, and call a radio station, write letter campaigns and et cetera, and say, we demand you to respect our minds. My mind is not a dog. My mind is not a roach. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَهُ أَسْفَلَ السَّافِلِينَ, and they are retarded to the asfala savini. Asfala means like asphalt. They get the word asphalt from it. Like you walk on the street, everything walks on asphalt, including the bum who said, and spit on top of the asphalt catch it. And that's what you below when you accept this. Now, I'm not insulting you. They always say I use some wild graphics. But I like to leave points in it, out, especially when I got a short time. Yeah, so there's a nurturing process that has to take place. We have to think this thing over again. Start from the beginning. Accept that there are going to be casualties. Accept that you lost a son and a daughter. You lost them in Vietnam. You lost them in World War I and World War II. It's another war going on. So let's accept the fact. You don't have to take this stuff. Okay, well, I ain't doing nothing. Okay, well, you can leave. You don't want the shoes? Go get you a job by your own. Now, I'm not attacking the youth. I'm supporting them. Because I'm appealing to the youth who have not been injured in war, to let's join on. And let's fight this battle together. Otherwise, we'll just be robots in this religion. And they'll give us mosques and mishwaks and robes and kufis. All of the artifacts you need. Yeah. Play the adhan for you on the radio. As long as you don't want to run nothing. As long as you don't want to lead. But we need to put in our children the appetite for leadership, to take over appetite, to kick butt appetite. Not just on the basketball court, in the football field, but in the colleges and universities, establishing our own. We shouldn't be satisfied until we have our own. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.